Well, several weeks after I first requested that interview, two top officials with the department agreed to talk, but with some conditions. They said they cannot discuss the specific cases in question and they cannot discuss hypotheticals. However, they did walk us through their process of handling complaints of alleged child abuse.
This work is so difficult, challenging, and ever-changing.
Kiva Rogers is the director of Chesterfield-Colonial Heights Social Services, the agency that oversees Child Protective Services, or CPS. The program has come into question as police say they've discovered that CPS has screened out or essentially dismissed cases involving multiple teachers who allegedly assaulted preschool students at the Chester Early Childhood Learning Academy. Rogers speaking generally about CPS practices.
Constantly we're looking at our policies and procedures, and when we do that, we have to also look at how we work together with our partners to see if there's anything that needs to change and shift with that.
So what happens when CPS receives a complaint? Assistant Director of Family Services, Danica Briggs, breaks it down like this. An intake worker will ask questions to determine whether the alleged abuse is valid based off very defined criteria laid out in the state code and department policy. For school employees, the criteria for a valid report are even more strict. If a reporter cannot give enough details to fit CPS's criteria, the case may be screened out.
It is very important to have as much information, including, the demographics of the alleged victim, as well as the alleged abuser and neglector. Additional information about the situation. That information could make the difference in whether a report is screened in or validated.
So how could CPS dismiss a case in which law enforcement would later find evidence of alleged abuse? Well, Rogers says that CPS is limited by the law in its investigative authority, whereas police are not. However, the state code says that CPS should refer cases involving injuries or threats against a child to law enforcement. I asked Rogers if she audits previous cases to see if they were handled appropriately.
We review in-house our records. We also are reviewed by Virginia Department of Social Services, who will come in and do audits on our work, and sometimes we're reviewed by outside auditors as well.
In a new statement, the Virginia Department of Social Services says that it's working with Chesterfield to ensure that CPS policies and practices are being followed and that the agency is operating at the highest level. I asked Rogers if she's confident that her staff and the process are keeping children safe.
That's something we are looking at ongoing and looking at all of our processes and ensuring that we have good processes to respond to situations.
And right now, Rogers says that she's working through some vacancies in the CPS program, but keep in mind, this is a system that even state social services leaders say has been historically understaffed and underfunded. I'll have much more from our conversation posted online at WTVR.com. In studio, I'm Tyler Lane, CBS 6 News.